Okay, I will be doing Narcissism, Gladiator, and the character that I will be doing is Commodus. Alright, table of contents. To start, I will be talking about the symptoms of narcissism, 5 of them which relate to Commodus within the movie. Second, I'll be talking about quotes, 3 specific quotes that can help Commodus. And third, I'll be doing the conclusion. Introduction. Commodus is the son of Caesar Marcus Aurelius, in which he murdered at the beginning of the film because Marcus told his son that he would be giving the throne to Maximus, one of the army generals who was more of a son to Marcus than Commodus is. Quick side note, Maximus is the main character of the film. Maximus shows great strength and honor in every battle, while Commodus does not participate and arrived late to the first battle and war in the film. In an immediate rage after hearing his father's wishes, Commodus proceeds to choke his father before he can change the heir to Maximus. The story is a revenge-based story on Maximus seeking revenge on Commodus for mainly killing his family and killing the Caesar after he refused to serve under Commodus because he knew Commodus killed Marcus. An exaggerated sense of one's own ability and achievements is the first one that I will be doing. Commodus challenged Maximus to a fight in the Colosseum. Maximus was not only arguably the strongest body that the Roman Empire had, but he also had a lot of sense and knowledge, which is why Marcus wanted him to be Caesar. Commodus had an exaggerated sense of his fighting skill because he thought that he could beat Maximus in a duel. He was overconfident, and that led to his inevitable demise. Next, a constant need for affection, affirmation, and praise. Commodus is unsure of why the Roman people and the Roman Empire as a whole don't treat him like his father and the ruler of Rome. We see that Commodus believes that with the title of Caesar comes affection and the love of the people. However, like Marcus, his father, Commodus has to earn it. Commodus thought that that the rank or the title of Caesar was completely incorrect, and he wanted to be the Caesar, uh, which showed how much attention he wanted from the people. Throughout the film, we see Commodus trying desperately to win over the hearts of his people, but they love Maximus instead, a true warrior who values strength and honor. There is also a scene at the beginning when Maximus raises his sword after winning the battle, and his soldiers roar in victory. Commodus sees this from the top of a hill and is displeased to not be included in the victory, even though he missed the entire war and showed up late on purpose to avoid battle. This shows us that even though he didn't deserve it, he wanted the attention that the soldiers and Caesar were giving to Maximus. Next, he's easily hurt but may not show it. In one of the earlier scenes in the movie, Commodus is twirling a sword in the courthouse, uninterested in the conversation that is being conveyed. Keep in mind, this is after he killed his father, so he is now the Caesar. Mostly everyone who is high ranking in the Roman Empire knows that Commodus is not worthy to be Caesar, so they tease him in the courthouse. Commodus keeps his composure, but afterwards, he gets mad while talking to his sister because he does not know why they belittle and tease him. Next, he considers himself better than others. After hearing that Marcus wanted to give the throne to Maximus, Commodus was enraged and killed his father. Commodus believed that he was the better choice for the throne than Maximus, who was a clear choice since he had battle sense, knowledge, and many good traits of a leader. Commodus would show up late to wars and lacked empathy and the skills to lead a country. Even when these strong reasons for Maximus to be a leader, he still thought that he was better, even if it meant running his own country into the ground. Finally, a lack of empathy for others. Two main events that take place in the film shows Commodus' lack of empathy. Side note, there are more minor ones, but these two stand out the most. The first is when he orders soldiers to rape and hang Maximus's family when he refuses to serve under him. Killing Maximus is bad, but going as far to commit such atrocities towards his family is cruel. The second is that when he wants to use his nephew, the son of his sister, as leverage to get his sister to do what he wants. Many people like this sister more than Commodus in the Roman Empire, so he indirectly makes it clear that he would kill his nephew if she didn't listen. For example, he tells a story with his nephew under his arm and his sister listening in the doorway about a prince who didn't listen to the king, implying that bad things would happen not only to herself, but to her son if she did not listen. On to the quotes. Man becomes great exactly in the degree in which he whirls for the welfare of his fellow man, said by Mahatma Gandhi. Marcus Aurelius' dream was to give Rome back to the people and end dictatorship, such as a Caesar or a king. However, his son disagreed with this, which is partially why he killed his father. Marcus wanted to work for and with his citizens, similar to Mahatma Gandhi, but Commodus wanted to rule them and be seen as a, a godlike figure. I would encourage Commodus to seek his true happiness and forget about ruling and royalty. He needs to see his city and work alongside his people in battle and everyday life to get a better understanding of his father's goal of giving Rome back to the people. The next quote is by the real life Marcus Aurelius, and he states, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions more than our own." This quote from the non-movie, Marcus, reflects Commodus' true character. He loves himself far more than others. However, the only thing that he cares about is how those people perceive him. He wants to be seen as a god and works so hard to gain the hearts and respect of the mob or the crowd in the Colosseum. From this quote, I would suggest that Commodus forgets his image and tries to run his country like a true leader, like his father, and not as a god. This can be done by putting his people first and keeping the Senate. Okay, the final quote is from Buddha. "If you truly love yourself, you could never hurt another." This quote from Buddha can be used by Commodus to find his true love and happiness for himself. He is very self involved and only cares about himself. However, that is not true love, because according to Buddha, you can never hurt others if you truly love yourself. And he hurts many in his time as Caesar. With the love of oneself comes the love of others. And from this, we can see that Commodus never truly loved anyone, not even himself, and was solely driven by greed and power. Finally, the conclusion. For the conclusion, I will be talking about society, family, and himself. If Maximus did die in the forest or never got killed by Commodus, his narcissism would have driven his country into the ground, since he would have ruined Marcus's plan to give the country back to the people, which would have ruined Rome and ruined its reputation as the strongest country in the world at the time. His narcissism also put his family in danger. For example, he killed his father and was ready to kill his nephew in order to control his sister. The reason why he controls his sister is to stop her from speaking with Maximus, who was locked up in a cell and used as a gladiator to fight in the Colosseum. Commodus's narcissism is bad for himself because it leads him down a dark path of killing his father and also inevitably leading to his death. We can see throughout the movie that he gets worse and worse after the death of his father. And his narcissism gets worse and worse as he goes down this dark path. And it's honestly a story of, it's not a tragic hero because he's not a hero, but we can see his progression and his demise throughout the story. And it honestly just ruins him and is really bad for him. The end. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I would ask questions, but I am doing a screencastify. If you have any questions, miss, please feel free to email me. And I do 100% encourage you to watch this movie with your family. Maybe your husband, not the kid, because it's a bit gory, but it is honestly one of my favorite movies, and it is just uh, I it's hard to admit, but I have cried a few times in this movie. It's great. I highly encourage you to watch it. Thank you for listening, miss. Have a good rest of your March break.